Hi, today we're going to be making a yeasted bread today. And so we've already done a quick bread, so I'm going to do a yeasted bread. And so I'll get into which medical food we're using today a little bit later when I start using it. But today we're going to start off with a mixture here. This is 7 grams of yeast. This is a dry active yeast. 15 grams of the brown sugar. This is a golden brown sugar. You can use dark brown sugar, the color of the bread eventually that we're going to making. This is 4 grams of the of what I'm using is agave here, and you can use either molasses or honey also. Again, this will change the color. So just that in, and then I have some more in there. There's a little bit more yeast. See if I can get that out. And then I have half a cup of water. This is a warm water that I'm using. So I'm going to stir this up, and then I'm going to set a timer for about 5 minutes, and I will be back on the time we're going to be adding in the warm water. Okay, so now we're going to add in the water. To the rest of the water. This is 3/4 of a cup of water that I'm adding into the frothy mixture here that we made earlier. And now we're transferring to a bread machine. So, going back over here. This is Taste Connections bread mix. This is a medical food, and it sells for $17 on the Taste Connections website. It does have to be medically prescribed. The main ingredient in it is wheat starch. And it also has canola oil, modified cellulose, sugar, psyllium fiber, dry malt, barley, and malt syrup, salt, and so it does contain wheat, so it is not gluten-free. Mix up our mixture here. Okay, so now this is 350 grams of the Taste Connections bread mix that I'm adding into the bowl. A teaspoon of, or 13 grams of olive oil. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Half a teaspoon of rosemary. The rosemary and the garlic powder are optional. I am using fresh rosemary. The garlic powder I just got, and so at least I know it's fresh. And our frothy mixture. Now I'm going to lower this, and we'll mix that up. So I'm going to let this go until it gets kind of sticky mixture, and then I will be transferring it to a bread loaf pan that needs to be greased, and then we're going to let it rise for 40 to 45 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, So for this last part, we're just going to baste the bread with butter. And I have about a half a stick of butter here that I'm just brushing the loaf with. It should have risen to the top of the pan. And we're going to stick it in the oven for 375 for about 22 to 25 minutes. So, and then we'll be done. And when it gets out of the oven, you're going to want to remove it immediately and let it cool. Should make about 12 to 14 slices, unless you have an electric knife, and you can probably get it pretty thin enough to get it to 22 slices. But this, the butter here improves the color. And I'm just gonna, I think, dump it on here. And spread it out. And thank you for your time.